Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to the video of my 1000 days challenge. This is day 518, and it's also the last day for the year itself. So let's get things started. Alright, so first and foremost, the balance has a little bit of a change, a little bit of improvement purely based on the experimental setup. Still is very much a negative zone. And what I mentioned, I'm trying out on this much smaller position, day trading on a much shorter time frame itself, testing out is how it goes and seeing if it does have an edge, because this is a more subjective way of trading, which is something I've always wanted to explore, and I'm exploring it right now. So it's much harder to do so-called back testing, simply because you go through a process of screening through the whole series along the day, and then you follow the particular process along with it, bearing in mind that I do not trade any particular pair in this particular way in that sense. So it's a lot of subjectivity into consideration, and you can't really so-called back test it in a systematic manner in that sense. All right, otherwise, if you look in terms of main trading setup is still the same. I'm not entering any trade for any of the pairs itself, so tentatively things looks to be a little bit sideways or a little bit bearish in that sense. If you look in terms of US market wide, yesterday we didn't continue the further upside momentum, which is actually a very good sign. In fact, I would prefer we have a short retest or even a pullback or consolidation before pushing towards higher high, and that will make it much more sustainable push. It's basically like when you're trying to build a building, you want a higher or stronger or larger or wider base, and in which case you will be able to sustain a much taller building or a much stronger spike in that sense. On the other hand, if you actually have a very small base, it also goes to show that when you do have a spike, if it does spike too tall itself or too fast itself, it will result in tentatively collapsing itself. So yeah, there's something to bear in mind. And then if you look in terms of the China market itself, a very decent bounce, especially for AC sharp potential double bottom form. And we also slightly break just above the 200-day simple moving average. But bear in mind, I would see that more like a technicality speaking, because it's a 0.001. So it's really very minimum. But what is key is actually K-Web itself. We actually have a very nice bounce at a very key region, which I mentioned before. So we do definitely want a very nice bounce in between all these key support regions that I've drawn way back ever since we broke below here. So I did mention that this would be a very key zone of interest itself. This very first primary zone, which should be between these 32 to $36 region itself. So it seems that we do have a very strong support buying in over here. Somebody can see over here. Very strong support over here, very strong support over here, but then tentatively it's retested multiple times. The support does get weakened because the people who really wanted to buy have purchased it. So now the question is, will this be enough to actually gather more momentum? In which case there'll be a really good sign, especially if we have carry on momentum and break towards this 20 exponential moving average on the downside. There will be a good shield of momentum itself. Yeah, but let's see how things go. We still have one more day to go before the year closes itself. And yeah, I'm switching towards the forward chart, because looking at Bitcoin itself, like I mentioned, it still looks a little bit choppy on the forward chart. You can see we have been range bound between this region itself. So yes, some people could look in terms of trading a range bound kind of a strategy approach. Personally, not myself. I'm still not that capable. I mean, I still don't have a good strategy that I'm comfortable with in terms of range bound strategy. You could, of course, right now I would consider, of course, shorting the top over here and then longing the bottom over here. So right now I'm definitely looking for a long setup. Not to say that we definitely have to go towards the upside, but the bias is towards slightly towards the upside if you're looking in terms of range bound setup. Otherwise, that's more or less about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop by your comments below. I wish you guys having a great new year ahead. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop by your comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.